One of my favorite offensive styles in NCAA Football 11 happens to be the run and shoot offense. So what I thought I would do here is go and show you a play that I like to run from the SMU playbook out of the shotgun spread. This play is called RNS Switch dig. And this play is pretty effective as far as beating man and bump and run man coverage. And that's what we're going to concentrate on in this video breakdown. So let's go and take a look at it. And the receiver that I really want to focus in on happens to be this one right here, which is the left slot receiver. You'll notice he's running a wheel route towards the left sideline. Now that particular route is very effective, as I said, as far as beating man and bump and run man coverage, and you're going to see that here as I go through this video breakdown. So let's go ahead and take a look at it. Right now, as far as on defense, just want to go ahead and show this. We're running this against the 4-2-5 cover one defense. Now this is actually 4-2-5 normal cover one, so just keep that in mind as you're watching the breakdown. So if you're following along, you want to run against this defense, you can. All right, so let's go back into it. And what we're going to do to get that slot receiver open is we're actually going to go take control of him, and then we're going to motion in about 1 to 2 yards towards the inside, and then we want to snap the ball. Now I want you guys to go ahead and concentrate on this guy right here, which is a strong safety. He's in man coverage on that slot receiver, and what he's going to wind up doing is he's going to wind up coming to the inside, and as this receiver, again, that's that slot receiver, as he breaks towards the outside on his wheel route, this defender is actually going to get kind of turned around, and by the time he gets going, he's actually going to be a few yards behind. And that's going to allow us to throw a quick bullet pass as we drop our quarterback back. So what we'll do is drop this quarterback about 1 to 2 yards, and then we're just going to go ahead and throw a quick bullet pass over here, and hopefully we'll wind up completing it and picking up at least maybe 5, 7, maybe even more yards. So let's go and take a look at it, and you can actually see how this play is actually going to work out. So we're going to go ahead and motion this guy to the inside, snap it, and throw it back to the outside. And right there we picked up about 8, 9 yards right there. So that's how that play generally works for the most part, as long as you throw it pretty quick against normal man coverage, and that's what you're seeing there. Let's go ahead and kind of spin this around a little bit and just take a look at it. Again, I want you guys to go ahead and focus in on that defender out here on the right, or excuse me, as you're looking at your screen on the left, is that one right there, and that's that strong safety. And again, we put this guy in motion, that's that slot receiver, about 1 to 2 yards, and then what we're going to do is we're going to snap it, and then he's going to wind up breaking out in this area here, and then the defender that's covering him, again, that's a strong safety, he's going to get in here, he's going to get kind of twisted, and then he's going to wind up eventually going out to cover. But by the time he reacts and gets back to his coverage, he's going to wind up being late, and we're going to wind up getting rid of that ball. You can kind of see how that defender right there, see how he gets kind of a little bit twisted right there. And by the time he gets going, we've already got the ball out of our hands, and we've already completed it. Now keep in mind, again, that's against the 4-2-5 out of the normal defense, out of the TCU playbook that we're showing here as far as on defense. So let's go ahead and run this against a bump and run coverage, the same type of defensive setup. I also want to show you something else I want you guys to keep in mind as you're looking at me going through these plays. There's also this play, it's called RNS Switch Smash, which is another play that works pretty much the same. Obviously the difference is you don't have the dig route in the wheel route over there on the right as you do in the RNS Switch dig, which is the difference between those two plays. But this concept as far as on the left works pretty much the same as far as to that slot receiver. All right, let's go ahead and run this against this 4-2-5 normal cover one defense again and do the same thing. This time we're going to call bump and run. Now something about this defense, you'll notice that that defender right there, which is that strong safety, actually winds up backing up off of him whenever they call bump and run man coverage from this particular defense. So let's go ahead and do that same thing with the motion. We're just going to go ahead and put him in there, and then we're just going to throw a quick bullet pass back out there. And again, we picked up about 7 yards, and that's against bump and run man coverage. The same type of motion, basically it's the same thing. Really no difference against this particular defense. Is pretty much the same thing as the way they run it. So again, we're going to motion them in, kind of motion them a little bit too far in, but you still should be able to get it off and do it a little bit too far in. But we still want to complete in about 5 yards. Just do it one more time. Again, you can see how that motion will affect this guy as far as the way he covers. And again, we're motioning him in about 1 or 2 yards, snap it, and then throw it out there. Again, we complete 5 yards. So that's against bump and run man coverage, and that's how that 4-2-5 normal. Now, what if your opponent was to run some other defense out of the 4-2-5? And the reason I'm showing the 4-2-5 because a lot of guys do run the 4-2-5. Let's drop it into the bear defense. And again, I just want to show you guys some stuff here that would happen as far as the coverages so you guys get a better idea. So when you're labbing this, kind of lab it through all these type of defenses and see how it works. Matter of fact, if you're playing against an opponent on an online dynasty game, and you know your opponent likes to run a certain type of formation or a few formations, you might want to practice these against a couple of these formations and see how these plays work. Let's go ahead and go back into this one again. So again, this man coverage right there, we're just going to go ahead and motion him in. And we're just going to throw that same thing out there. Now that one we got a little bit late because of the way the ball came up on with the quarterback. Let's do that same thing again. Same motion. And we're just going to throw it to the outside there and pick up some positive yardage. So Again, we wind up picking up about 12 yards. So you can see this play is pretty effective as far as beating man coverage. Now, what do they call bump and run man coverage? All right, you notice that guy never moved. This corner, or excuse me, the strong safety never actually moved. Whenever you call bump and run man coverage against the 46 bear, he doesn't come up, he doesn't go back, he doesn't do anything. He just stays there. So what you're going to do is you're just going to take control of this guy. Rather than motion him 1 to 2 yards, you want to just go ahead and motion him just 1 step and then snap it. And you can tell it's bump and run out here on the outside. If you're looking at these 2 corners on the outside, just pay attention here to this guy right here and this guy right here. You can tell it's bump and run man coverage still. All right, so we're going to go ahead and motion him in just 1 step and snap it and then throw it. And again, we wind up completing it for some positive yardage. And what happens with that motion, what you're going to notice with the motion there, again, the way that safety, let's go ahead and just zoom out over here. You can kind of see how that safety pauses for a second. See how he pauses? And then by the time he reacts, the ball's already out of the quarterback's hand. Too late, and you wind up getting the completion there. So it's pretty simple to run. Let's go ahead and do it from the quarterback perspective here. And again, you can kind of see how this play works. He takes that 1 step in, bam, throw it, complete it, and head up the field. So pretty nice little play to run out of the SMU playbook, out of the shotgun spread formation. The name of the play that we're showing is called RNS Switch Dig. Nice little play to go ahead and beat bump and run man coverage and also man coverage.